I saw a video claiming that millennials were the last generation to experience something. Check out my reaction from stream. Let's see what this one is.
Millennials might be the last generation to have experienced the world when it was still truly beautiful. And hear me out on this, because I haven't been able to stop thinking about this since I realized this is where it all changed. And this is the TikTok that you're going to be thinking about all week long. So,
Oh,
in
great.
order for this to sink in, as long as you're not driving, what I want you to do is close your eyes,
What?
because it's the
I'm trying to eat. I'm trying to eat. Don't tell me to close my eyes. All right, I'm gonna try it.
summer of 2006. It's 10 a.m. You're just a kid. You're lying in your bed in your room and you are bored. There is nothing to do because there's nothing good on TV. You don't have a cell phone and you can't use the internet because you're not allowed to, because it ties up the phone line. The whole house.
Amen. Wow. I'm getting chills like thinking back to that, the reality of that life. I remember that. Lived through that. Still desire to be able to create some of that in our house for my sons in the future. Man.
House is quiet. And that's why you can hear the breeze outside. And that's where we all got acquainted with that bird that we came to know so well. And you are just lying there, wondering if your crush is thinking about you, wondering if there's still pizza rolls in the freezer, wondering what it is you're going to do today. And that quiet isn't interrupted by a notification. That quiet is interrupted by the doorbell. Or maybe it's one of 30 texts that you'll get.
I mean, for me, it was a little bit different. A lot of my childhood grew up with my grandparents, but that's still, man, the you become accustomed to that sound that is recognizable. I'm getting like emotional, like thinking about this. This is crazy. But yeah, the now granted, I didn't necessarily have the laying in your bed because you were like told go go outside and play until the bugs come out or until we call you in for dinner kind of thing. Um, or if it was a Saturday, here's the chores that you guys need to do and accomplish. Go get them done, stuff like that. Um, but even so, you felt a sense of purpose and a sense of direction without being flooded with distraction and being flooded with yeah, things to keep you from focusing on that. That's crazy. That's crazy to think about.
Get this month because that's all you paid for on your plan. But your day is interrupted by your squad who shows up on bikes, or maybe
All right, I gotta reload this because for some reason it's going really slow. Like the audio and video are off from one another. It's weird. Let me go back. We were at like
millennials
119. I was gonna say, does TikTok let you scrub? There, there we go.
that came to pick you up in their vehicle, and that's like a really, really good day. And when your friends show up, that's when the whole day starts, and you all go out together, and you don't have cell phones, you're just with each other, and you talk to each other face to face. And here's the really big one: is whatever you do today is going to boil down to three solid options. You're either going to hit the mall, and you don't go to shop or spend money. Like, you're not going to actually do
Walk
anything.
around,
It's just to be
hang out.
somewhere else together.
Yeah.
And you're not going to buy anything or spend any money unless maybe you bump into your crush and their friend group, and then maybe you spend the little money that you have in your pocket to go to the movies or hit the food court. But it's not about the movie and it's not about the food. It's about the people that you're with. Option number two is heading over to somebody's house so that you can all be bored together. And this is where the best memories of our entire lives came from. These are the days.
Mm-hmm. And it's those moments. I remember trips. To this day, I still argue that, like in youth ministry, we would take trips in like long trips in vans and such, because and you purposely keep the distractions out of the van because those moments where you're bored together are the moments that you make memories together. And and so those are where some I remember difference, even if it was with family and it wasn't with with other friends, because that was more my story. It was more of I wasn't allowed as much to go out with other people or to be over at other people's houses as much as I was there with my three siblings, or my cousins, two cousins who lived across town, and we had a big yard out back of my grandparents that we lived in, and man, I just remember some of the biggest moments of laughter, like those ones that make you hurt, like those happen from the silly, like you're just filling the gap of time, but you don't realize that you're filling the gap of time. You're just being with each other. You're building relationships. You're being in community with one another. Man, nothing like it.
Days and memories that are going to stick with you in your mind that make you happy
Mm-hmm.
just remembering them, and they will stick with you until the day you die.
Mm-hmm.
The thing is, they came off the back of a day that was just boring, but you were with your friends, and you don't realize how special that is when you're in that moment. But you will when you're grown. And those moments are memorable because of the people that you're with. Do you notice a pattern here? Because option number three, which is going to resonate more for the guys, but option number three was heading over to somebody's house for a LAN party or a Halo party, and you all just play video games together. And you're playing in the same house. And it's not really about winning, because it kind of is, but it's not. It's about the
Yeah,
people who you are physically with. Now, I want you.
yeah. I didn't I didn't get that opportunity either. We were kind of held from being able to game and such. But in the times that I was able to get away with it, it was more of like me and my brother in the same room. Like we were connecting, me and my family, even up until, playing. I remember playing Need for Speed Carbon on PlayStation 2, and you had the you had like the cop chases and stuff, and everybody's sitting there just like, oh, turn there, no, get it, oh, the big crashes and stuff. But there's just that camaraderie of doing that together in the same room. Oh, beautiful.
Should open your eyes because we flash forward almost 20 years and everything I just mentioned still happens, but it's all been corrupted by technology, convenience,
Mm-hmm.
and making a buck. Nobody is
Mm-hmm.
bored today. Every single second of our lives is trying to be captured by a company. And these corporations are doing that in exchange for what they say is convenience. But here's the thing, even though movies come straight to our devices, we are all watching them alone. Even though we can place the order online and skip the line, we are all eating alone. You can still play video games with your friends. Gen Z and Gen Alpha love doing this. There's Fortnite wizards everywhere. Everybody loves these video games, but the thing is it's all pay to play. It's all microtransactions. You don't buy a game and enjoy it until the next one comes out. There's all kinds of DLC content that you have to pay for, but the really, really big one is that Gen Z and Gen Alpha, when they're playing with their friends are in their ear. They're not right next to them.
Mm-hmm.
This generation is never going to know what it's like to get a Kilimanjaro and look across the room at your friend like, what just happened?
Physical presence is everything. Physical presence is everything. This is one of the reasons why, even in today's world of it's good to connect with people online, it's good to connect, like as a Christian, it's good to connect with people and to be like, I meet every Wednesday morning with some brothers in Christ, via Google Meets, to check in with each other, to pray for each other, to that's phenomenal that we have that capability via technology. But how important it is to be next to and beside and with people in the local church. It's good to have places that you can continue to learn and you can connect with people through chats and through speaking and things of that nature, but to actually be serving in your local body, to be worshiping in person with each other, like that reality of how big physical presence is. And a lot people in this generation experienced these pieces that I think give huge light to that 20 years later, as he said.
That's over. And we're not bored anymore. every single second of our day is controlled by devices with people who are telling us how to think and what to think. I'm doing it to you right now. Your mind isn't idle. It's consuming content that's been created by someone else. And that's
Yeah. Yeah. Um, it's one of the things I want to do is create space in my home for my boys. I want to create two things. One, create times that nothing is happening. Purposely scheduling time that nothing is happening so that we as a family aren't idolizing our schedule and aren't running all over the place all the time. But there's place for having to be places and do things. But there's space that's necessary for us to sit, for us to have to figure out what to do with our time, for us to not have something planned. And the other is rest, which goes kind of hand in hand with that. But to rest, to have time that is specifically set up to rest, in which you look to you look to fill that time in a restful, specifically a restful way. But yeah, they go hand in hand. But yeah, I want to create those and carry that forward. And some of the ways that we look to do that is we have parameters and boundaries to what we want when it comes to screen time with our toddler and with our littlest one when he gets old enough. Not allowing viewing of stuff prior to 18 months. It's been tons of studies done that have shown more and more how detrimental it can be. And so we just want to heed the research, the trusted research, and be smart with how we handle that stuff. Is it used when it's necessary? 100%. But is it relied upon as the way in which we raise our children? No. That's the whole idea. Is we don't want it to be. And so, man, I hope I can carry this on so that millennials aren't the last generation to get this.
that's the final layer on this like corruption of everything that used to be good about having downtime. Capitalism has brought us to this place where no one is ever bored, and goods and services are so easily accessible and so customizable that going to the mall or picking a movie or deciding what to eat is no longer about the people that we do that with. It's about us. I can skip the
Mm-hmm.
line, place my order online, but I'm not eating with my friends. I can watch.
One of the things for me that really always happens with this is my wife jokes about it, but I think it goes into this idea is I don't like to get the same thing off the menu when I'm eating out with people that somebody else got. I like to try something different. Why? Because I like to have an experience with the people I'm with that's different. And if you're with some true friends, obviously you want to be able to taste different things. So obviously you want to be able to share, when you hear your family, the old Olive Garden thing.
The newest shows on my device, but I'm watching them alone. We're doing the same things today that we used to do, but instead of bringing us closer together, the things that we're doing today are isolating us from the people around us. Families watch their shows on their own devices in separate rooms today. Having friends in 2024 doesn't mean the same thing that it did in 2004.
Hmm.
And I'm pretty convinced that human beings are not designed to operate like this. We deserve and need face-to-face contact with people who genuinely care about us and who we feel we belong in a tribe with or a group with.
Amen.
And
Amen.
it makes me so sad, but so grateful to be a part of a generation that was literally the last generation to experience the world where that still happened pretty frequently. And I guess I'm thinking about this a lot this week when every ad on my phone has been for this new Apple device that you put on your head, and your children are no longer going to recognize you as mom or dad, but just this like half machine, half person thing. I know you can see straight through it to the little person who's asking you for food, the peanut butter and jelly sandwich, but they're not seeing you. You might see them, but we're just like drifting apart as a species. And the more that we drift apart, the more that we crave the simpler times when we didn't have all of these distractions. We just had each other. So if you're a
Amen.
millennial and you feel like the world has lost its innocence, maybe that's something that happens with every generation, or maybe this is actually the turning point where humanity stops being what it once was. Let me know where you think we are in the comments.
Wow. Man, that's some heavy stuff. Heavy stuff to think about.